America. The Job Creators Network is a great sponsor of my show. Their president is Alfredo Ortiz, who's been joining me for years. He's back. Alfredo, I was just talking to Jason Smith. Sounds like we're going to get two reconciliation budget bills, not one. I'm not happy about that. What do you think about that?
I'm right there with you, and I don't think Jason Smith is too happy about that either. I'm a little bit concerned. First time go around, we did healthcare before tax cuts. That didn't turn out too well, and I hope it's not the same thing here.
Well, I'm curious, Alfredo. You have ties in the transition team. If Donald Trump came out and said one bill right away, we would get that. But he's got great messengers in people like Stephen Miller, who are out messaging for their priority, which is the border. It's my priority as well. I've been arguing for a wall longer than Stephen has. But we can do it all at once. What is the deal here? Why are we not doing it all at once?
Well, Hugh, I mean, I guess after years of seeing Donald Trump in action, I kind of put myself in a position where I'm probably the last one to question his gut on these things. But just from the outside looking in, I feel like we can probably do both things at once. And in fact, I think a lot of the border things that we can do immediately can be done day one on an EO. We can come back and codify later through Congress. Absolutely, we have to do that. But we can go ahead and do that and use our political capital to get tax cuts done, because I don't think it's as easy as everybody thinks it's going to be. He wants to drop the corporate rate down to 15%. We're advocating that if that happens, we want the tax deduction for small businesses to actually go to 25% from 20%. And Hugh, the other important thing is on the Tax and Jobs Act for small businesses is that immediate expensing, which was such a huge benefit for small businesses. That basically phases out at the end of 2025. And so that's the baseline that we're going to be using. So we're going to have $180 billion basically paid for to have that reinserted back into the Tax and Jobs Act. And, I don't think this is going to be as easy as people think. And so I'm a little bit worried. But look, who am I to question Donald Trump?
Oh, well, he had made a decision as far as I know. Nobody asked him because, of course, the dummies from the press corps were down there and they didn't ask him one bill versus two bill. And we would have gotten an answer at the press conference. Here's my argument, Alfredo, punch holes in it. The Republicans need to grow the economy to keep the House and the Senate in 2026. If we lose the House, Donald Trump will be impeached for a third time because that's all Democrats know how to do. So this is really, as a matter of politics and economic growth, very easy. It does not matter how much the debt goes up in the short term. It really does not matter to me. If it's a $2 trillion increase, we already owe $38 trillion. Let's get the economy on a permanent, serious tax footing and go out from there. Is that your argument as well?
It has to be, Hugh. I mean, because we have to have that growth, because alongside with that, remember, he's also promised to drop prices and inflation. Look, the last number that we just saw ticked up to 2.7%. Look at the 10-year. The 10-year keeps going up even though the Fed's trying to cut rates. And so what is the bond market saying? They don't trust that we're actually going to cut the debt or the deficit. But in the short term, to your point, we have to grow out of the issues that Biden put on our shoulders. And to cut prices, we're actually going to have somewhat of a deflationary period. So you're going to have deflation of prices at the same time growing the economy and cutting government spending. That is quite a mixture of things to balance.
We cannot cut government spending right now. We can do that next year. Right now, we have to lock in the tax cuts in order to grow the economy, and we have to make energy production viable. We have to make housing production easier, and we've got to secure the border. All it takes is will. This is where I come back to, Alfredo. I want to give you the last word. This is not rocket science. They just have to agree, and then they have to get it through the House over to the Senate. Do you think they will?
Well, we have to. I mean, right now we just have the continued resolution battle just for, this coming Friday. And, the speakers obviously has just a few votes here. And I already know there's 3 votes. Some of the usual suspects out there like Chippewa and stuff voting against it. So, but we have to get that over the hump to get them over to, the March timeframe for the reconciliation bills. And so, look, I know with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, there is going to be cuts in government spending. They're not going to happen right away, though. It's probably at least 1-2 years out. And so in the meantime, though, we do have to grow the economy. To your point, we have no choice.
We don't have a choice. I hope you are making that well known inside of Mar-a-Lago and the transition team and to the new Secretary of the Treasury designate and everybody else, because I remember 1982. We won big in 1980 and we lost big in 1982 because the Reagan tax cuts were delayed by the assassination attempt, and they did not kick in time, Alfredo. And Paul Volcker also had to kill inflation dead, and I'm hoping Jerome Powell does. Last word to you. Do you expect the Fed to cut rates today?
Absolutely, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, Hugh. Like I said, the 10-year keeps going up, so at this point, I don't think the Fed's really in control of our interest rates.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to work is actual, honest to goodness economic growth, and that means the tax bill that Alfredo and I are advocating for. We're probably losing the battle. Maybe we'll win the war. I hope I don't come back and say I told you so, Alfredo, but I think we're playing Russian roulette with the tax code, and it's not a good idea. Alfredo, always good to see you, my friend. Alfredo Ortiz, CEO of the Job Creators Network, one of our great sponsors, jobcreatorsnetwork.com, jcn.org. I'll be right back tomorrow, America, on the next Hugh Hewitt Show.